match was disappointing, I guess. Actually, no, disappointing probably isn't the right word for it, because I really didn't expect much of it, like, to begin with. But
Yeah.
it still, like, for the people involved, I guess you could say it was maybe disappointing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But finally, this would save a lot of it for me.
This is where I mean by ups and downs.
And from here on out, it's going to be pretty much ups.
Yeah.
So this helped it.
Yeah.
So next we'd have a singles match between Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards, which the Collier Shot Gauntlet Trophy, which Eddie won at Bound for Glory, was on the line. And of course, with that trophy and him winning that match, it allows him to challenge for a championship of his choosing. So Michael Elgin, once again, another great performance. He's honestly, in a lot of ways, since he's come there, been, you could say, arguably their best worker, because this guy never has a bad match.
Yeah, I don't remember during his TNA run ever him having a bad match.
Yeah, like from the beginning with Brian Cage at Slammiversary, I mean, that in some ways, in terms of wrestling, may have been their best match of the whole entire year. That match was just awesome.
Yeah.
He had the match of the night at Bound for Glory with Marufuji, for sure.
Yeah.
And then even at, like, Bash of the Brewery, Friday night, for the people who may have by chance caught that, he had the match with Joey Ryan, which I actually thought was pretty good and way better than expectations. So this guy, I'm convinced he could pretty much go out there and just...
Did he take the Dickplex?
He did not.
He did not? All right, good.
They teased it, but he did not.
Good.
Yeah, because that would have been kind of like a rough look for him. I mean, I was shocked enough when they had Shamrock take it, but yeah. But I'm convinced this guy could pretty much have a good match with anybody at this point.
Probably.
So a lot of good spots in this. There was the corkscrew on the floor with the padding removed on the concrete. That was rough.
Elgin is one hard hitter, man.
Yeah, no, they both are stiff, but especially Elgin. But Elgin would try to suplex Eddie, but Eddie would reverse it as both men would go crashing to the outside. And then Elgin would deliver some vicious strikes.
Yeah, brutal, man. It was like they were hurting me when I was watching.
Yeah, and then for the finish, Elgin would deliver a lariat and a buckle bomb, but then Eddie would then counter into a cradle and then get the win, and I guess he get the trophy back. Well, I mean, it was his, but Elgin, I guess, took it from him.
Hostage for a little bit.
So, yeah, to me, this was a great match. It's also been interesting because while Eddie's kind of like gone into like a different, I guess a different point in his career in terms of like a different character and like a different realm of things. He's kind of adapted a more, I guess you could say, brawling style. Yeah. He's been doing a lot more like no DQ, like kind of like extreme kind of like matches more. So like you haven't really seen so much of the
technical,
so much more of the technical style of him, and so it was putting him against Elgin, he definitely was going to bring that out, and he obviously still has it, and he definitely could. He showed in this match he definitely could do it, but it was nice seeing him go back to his roots in this one, and both guys did a great job. I went ahead and gave this 4. I thought it was stellar.
I agree. Now I'm going to ask one question: who would you rather get hit by? Elgin or Walter?
Elgin.
Elgin?
Yeah. I've seen Walter. He cased someone's chest in when he hit somebody.
I don't want to get hit by any of those guys.
No. God, no. But, Chops just suck in general, but...
Especially his.
Then next we'd have a Rhino backstage promo.
Yeah, man, that was a pretty violent promo.
Yeah. Well, he has those intense promos.
Yeah, those fit well in Impact, never in WWE.
Yeah, but I enjoy him personally better in Impact at this point than I do in WWE.
Yeah,
because they make it seem like he actually, I guess, matters. But so then we had a no disqualification match between Moose and Rhino. Moose has been going against several different legends of the past for months now, and I guess Rhino was the next legend for him to go against. But so this was actually, to me, better than I anticipated. Although the second I found out it was no disqualification, I thought that this could go a lot better. just because it's a singles match. With Rhino at this point in his career, it's not that like he can't necessarily go anymore. I'm not saying that. It's just like, to me, when you put two guys in there, like especially like a Moose's stature, it's kind of like It's like I don't know if it's like I don't know if it really mesh well, but yeah, but this was way better than expectations. Things to point out: there was the back body drop on the ramp where Moose went flying. There was a power bomb through at the table. Moose would
Pump up power bomb. I was like, damn.
the Moose would drop the Macho Man elbow, which is, I guess he had his old Macho Man gear on.
Yeah, and the headband.
Yeah, and then Rhino would gore Moose through the table, but then Moose would pull the official in front of him, and then they both get gored through it. Rhino would cover Moose, a new referee would take over, but Moose would kick out. Then Moose would low ball Rhino, then hit him with the no jackhammer needed spear, and get the win. So I went ahead and gave this 2 3/4. It's much better than I expected. I thought it was pretty solid.
I gave it a half.
2.5.
2.5.
So the next we'd have the World Tag Team Championships on the line, which was the North, Josh Alexander and Ethan Page versus Rich Swann and Willie Mack. But this would end up becoming a 2-on-1 handicap match because Rich suffered an injury on Friday night in San Antonio at Bash of the Brewery, the Impact Plus special, so he was unable to compete. So then Willie would then opt to take the champs 2-on-1. They definitely make the most of a bad situation here. One of the spots that sticks out to me, that especially the spot that does stick out to me the most, was the Super Canadian Destroyer.
Yeah.
That was insane.
That was very. Honestly didn't think that was going to happen. That was just going to be like a typical like clothesline or drop kick. Maybe even just a crossbody.
Yeah, exactly. And none of that would have been bad, but yeah, they stunned me with that one.
Yeah.
Then Willie would hit the 6-star frog splash to go for the cover, but Ethan Page would pull the referee out of the ring. He'd beg for the ref to DQ him and Josh because the North would still retain the tag titles, but Willie would convince the official not to. Mm-hmm. Willie would hit stunners on both Ethan and Josh, but they would both hit him with several strikes, dazing him, and then the North would hit their finish for the win and retain the tag titles. This was actually way better than I thought it was going to be. Now, had it been a regular tag team match,
it probably would have been even better.
Oh yeah, well no, this would have been great, but yeah, but for a 2-on-1 handicap match, is actually pretty good, and I actually thought that this made Willie look pretty good, and
yep, and from the looks of it, it looks like they're actually could be splitting up soon, from what the story is telling us.
Yeah, but I don't really know. Like they do that, but it seems like when they do stuff like that, it'd be too obvious if they actually did it. So
right.
So finally, we would have the main event here for the Impact World Championship. It would be Sami Callihan defending against #1 contender Tessa Blanchard. This became interesting for more than one reason. Of course, they're not going to get into it too much on this show, but yeah, there's a bit of controversy over the weekend situation with Tessa Blanchard and I guess several of former female or women wrestlers that she had worked with in the past, trying to call her out for incidents in the past and accusations, and so just not going to get in depth about that, but just to point that out. So with that taking place, that happened the day before this pay-per-view.
Yep. So
I guess that for a lot of people may have changed the way that they were gonna think about this match and like going into it. And so, I mean, the crowd like basically went with it like nothing ever happened, or basically went with it like the way like it like in terms of like basically like that didn't change it's basically like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So
the Death Machine versus Tessa Blanchard.
Mm-hmm. So they start out here. during Tessa's entrance, Josh Matthews would say that many people consider Randy Orton to be the greatest third generation wrestler ever.
Yeah, they actually mentioned a WWE Superstar on the program.
Yeah, yeah. So that Tessa may have has a chance to become so. Callahan would hit Tessa right off the bat with a boot, and then immediately hit the Cactus Special 97. Tessa would kick out at 2. Then shortly after, Tessa would hit the Magnum on Sammy, and he would kick out at 2. Sammy would powerbomb Tessa through a table outside the ring, but Tessa would make her way back into the ring to beat the ref's count.
At 9.
And then the spot where Tessa there's also a spot where Tessa would hit the Magnum on the apron, and then both combatants would be outside the ring, but then they'd both make it back in the ring, but then Sammy would argue that she didn't make it back, and then he made it back in time. But
that Magnum apron spot, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Then Sammy would grab the world title. Oh wait, well first no, there's another spot where there's the Magnum in the corner.
Yeah.
But then Sammy later would grab the world title, and the ref would take it away. But while the ref was distracted, he'd pull out some brass knucks. Tessa would low blow him, because he had the knucks, I guess, in the right spot. And then she'd hit another Magnum, but Callahan would kick out at 2 once again. And then Tessa would place Sammy in a crossface, but he would get back to his feet, hit another Cactus Special, but would only get another 2 count. And then Sammy would go as far as a spit on her. And then Tessa would then deliver some wild strikes. And then Sammy would go for a pump kick, but Tessa countered with a destroyer. And then she'd hit a buzzsaw DDT and secure the win and become the new Impact World Champion, becoming the first ever female to be the World Champion.
Yeah, which I never thought I'd probably never thought I'd actually see the day. I'm actually glad. I'm glad it did, because obviously, I'm a guy that supports equality. I think a woman is much more capable of doing something a man can do, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. And I thought this was a great match. I thought it was a cool, good story. Obviously Tessa should have won after the last 2 meetings that they had.
No, so in terms of the story, like, everything was done correct. I did see that, like, some people, of course, and people. I'm not here to argue actually in this case, but I know there's some people who may have questioned the fact that they didn't change their plans and still went through with this, like, despite what had happened, or what the incidents of the weekend were. I mean, this is obviously something that they had planned for quite some time, but yeah, so there's that side of it. Nonetheless, history was made, no matter how you look at it. But yeah. It was. I guess the only thing about it, though, is it seemed like it probably would have. I still feel like it. In terms of everything, it was done right. In terms of the story and what they had done, but I still feel like it would have been cooler had that. Unfortunately, with this happening, it does make you kind of think of it a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. No matter what side you're on, probably. But depending upon it depends on what side you're on, because some people are just gonna not think much of it at all. And I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to really even say anything about this, but it's just the fact. It's just the fact of it, But yeah, so Tessa Blanchard is the new world champion. So I thought this was a great match. As I said before, with the intergender wrestling, it's not for everybody. It wasn't even my cup of tea at all. I was not necessarily a fan of it whatsoever
until Callahan and Blanchard battled.
But once they did that match at Slammiversary, they kind of won me over a bit. It's still something that I don't know if it's something I enjoy seeing every single time or every single week, but I think we've done with the right people in the right situation, it can be pulled off, which and these two are probably the 2 best you can do it with. But so I thought this was stellar. Just I thought the storytelling and her I guess overcoming the odds and pulling it out and coming out on top. I thought everything was done well. I went ahead and gave it 4.
Yeah, I believe I gave it 4.5.
Yeah. So yeah, great match. But
Yeah.
this is Impact Wrestling's Hard to Kill pay-per-view. The first pay-per-view we've